This is Lifetime's intimate portrait of Marg Helgenberger. At 18, Marg was acting in college. Despite her natural talent and leading roles in school plays, Hollywood was not on her radar. She was taking things one day at a time.
I've never really had any grand plans to my career or to my life. And it seems like every time I try to plan something, it doesn't work out. That's kind of been my experience. Maybe that's why I just try to let things be.
Marg was only beginning to learn of life's unpredictability. In June of 1980, she was about to head home for the summer after her junior year at Northwestern when her mom called. Kay told her daughter she had a lump in her left breast.
She said, "Oh, my goodness." And I said, "Don't worry about it. There's nothing to worry about. I'm just going in for a biopsy. I'll probably be home in a day."
I think I was flying home the next day. And so I said, "Okay, love you, and we'll see you when I see you."
When I went into the surgery, the doctor told me that if it was positive, then they would immediately do a modified radical mastectomy. So when you wake up, if you're disbandaged, you'll know it was negative, and if you have the drain tubes in, you will know that we had to remove the breast.
My dad announced it to me. Like I am now. I mean, I just kind of was so astonished. I didn't think that he told me that they actually had to take her breast. And then on the day that she was supposed to be coming home from that surgery, she called to say they found in the other breast. So that was hard.
The oncologist came in and said, "There is a primary lesion now, and we can give you radiation for the right breast." And I looked at him kind of funny, and I said, "Why do I want to save this breast?" And he said, "Well, I was hoping you'd say that." And of course I cried, and was hysterical, and then I got myself together.
Kay had first discovered a lump a couple of years before while showering, but 2 doctors told her it was nothing to worry about. The lump remained. And Kay finally had a mammogram at her annual checkup in 1980. Now, at age 46, Kay returned home from the hospital having had a double mastectomy.
It seemed like a week after her second surgery. I mean, I'm not joking. It was like a week, maybe 2. She was out mowing the lawn in Nebraska humid heat. And it was a push mower.
In a little town, everybody knows everything. And, they had me, on deathbed and all this and that. And I thought, I got to show these people that I am not dying.
My mom, out of all of us, I thought was taking it the best. Her faith is so strong, and her will. And I think that Dad and Marg and Kurt and I were having a hard time being able to cope with all the what ifs.
And they didn't really want to say too much to me because I was always just so chipper and peppy and all this.
She was trying to be stoic and just trying to get back to business as usual. Maybe it was the calm before the storm, because I think once she started the treatment and once the treatment started kicking in, and it really knocked her out.
Kay had 3 lymph nodes infected with cancer, so for 8 months she went to the doctor every other week for chemotherapy.
On the way home, my mom would already be throwing up in the car the whole way. She'd probably lay in bed for 2 or 3 days and vomit every 20 minutes during that. That was tough.
Of course, she lost all of her hair and lost a lot of weight and was very ill for, it seemed like months and months and months.
Marg returned to Northwestern for her senior year, but couldn't focus, so she took a break from classes.
Maybe it was because I had just been with my mother for 3 months, and it just seemed all so unimportant. I knew it was just a temporary thing, and I dropped out and I just worked.
A semester later, Marg was back in school. Kay was now nearing the end of her treatment.
She kind of got over all the physical and emotional torture of the chemo and losing the hair, and she seemed to kind of come to make some peace with all that stuff. And she kind of was a little different person at that time.
With 1 month of chemo to go, Kay flew out to Chicago to see her daughter play Blanche Dubois in Northwestern University's production of A Streetcar Named Desire.
That play and its themes, family and mental illness, and it really struck a chord with me, I guess. Because up to that point, I don't know if I really had something that was that challenging.
That's probably the first time that I really thought that she could do it. And I really thought, gosh, more power to her.